After discovering one of his pet cats dead in the road, it had been a while since Scott Ewells had had a reason to smile. However, when he found a touching note from his neighbor about his late cat, he was overwhelmed with pride. Ewells lives in Norwich, England. He works as an egg technician, and in 2016, he shared his home with his two cats, Teddy and Bear. The kitties were 4-year-old tabby brothers, and they were extremely close. In fact, Teddy and Bear did everything together, often venturing through their cat flap to enjoy days out and about with one another. But in February 2017, Bear sadly didn't return from one such escapade. Ewells later found Bear's dead body near his house. He believed a driver had run over the poor cat. Naturally, the awful discovery devastated his owner. "It makes me so sad that he was taken from us so young," he wrote on Reddit in March 2017. "One morning on my way to work, I found him laid near a parked car, only a few doors down from our house," Ewells revealed. "It's so upsetting finding him like that, when both him and his brother were so full of life." However, it soon emerged that Ewells wasn't the only person on which Bear and his brother had left an impression. A couple of weeks after Bear's death, Teddy returned from his nightly hunting spree as usual. However, Ewells noticed something unusual on his collar. It seemed that someone had gotten hold of the cat and attached a handwritten note to his collar. Upon opening the letter, Ewell realized the sender was writing to him. It transpired that Teddy and Bear had been making regular trips to a neighbor's house for quite some time, and now the neighbor was concerned that they had not seen Bear for 2 weeks. "Dear owner, I'm your neighbor, living in number 4. The note read, "I'm also your cat's close friends as they, 2 cats, are used to coming to my room every day, but one of them has disappeared for 2 weeks. Is he okay?" The note continued, "I'm so worried about him. He is so lovely cat and always touched my heart. Wish he is fine." Recognizing the love in the letter, Ewells knew he had to respond to the sender right away. "I wrote a note back to number 4 and posted it straight away, even as it was late in the evening," he told the Dodo in March 2016. "I mentioned that Bear had passed away and was so glad that he had brought joy to their lives too." Ewells also included his email address in case the neighbor wanted to chat some more. And she did. During their correspondence, Ewells discovered that his kindly neighbor was a Taiwanese student at the local university and that Teddy and Bear had been visiting her regularly. The cat's double lives came as a surprise to their owner. However, his neighbor's stories about the late Bear warmed his heart. In one email, for example, the student explained how Bear and Teddy had become a part of her life. She had been studying for her thesis in 2015 when the cats appeared at her back door. She joked that she felt they were supervising her work as she prepared for a presentation. After that, the brothers returned to the house every day and would play with the student and her friends. Sometimes, Bear would also take long naps on the sofa. He was so content there, in fact, that his loud snoring would occasionally keep the student awake. "Bear was just like an angel for me," the neighbor wrote. "He was a good listener when I needed a person to help me for rehearsing my presentation. He was my best friend even though we couldn't speak in English. He entirely touched my heart," she continued. "I missed him so much. I have a lot of stories about him to say, but I'm so sorry at this moment that I cannot keep a clear mind to write properly." Needless to say, the sincere exchange provided Ewells with plenty of comfort. Realizing the student was grieving just as he was, Ewells reached out to her and invited her around to visit Bear's final resting place in his garden. The neighbor agreed to come and lay some flowers on the cat's grave. Later, Ewells decided to share his moving encounter with the online community on Reddit. The uplifting story proved popular on the site and attracted more than 350 comments in a matter of days. Meanwhile, many people offered words of support to Ewells and his neighbor. "Such handsome little men. The fact that they touched the lives of other people should make you very proud," wrote one user. Meanwhile, another pondered, "This is so lovely and heartbreaking. I wonder if your neighbor is lonely." Luckily for Ewells and his neighbor, they still have Teddy to keep them company. And Ewells is considering getting another kitten so that he has a feline friend. However, for now, the family are still coming to terms with the loss of Bear. That's the thing about cats. Although we do anything to keep our pets safe, some pusses just want to wander freely, Maybe it's because they can make so many more friends that way and touch so many lives during the time that they have on this planet.
This story was really incredible, but you will like the next one more.
This kitten's ears had been cruelly cut off, so a volunteer fashioned some adorable replacements. Karma was just a few months old when she arrived at a Californian animal shelter. However, despite her young age, the cat had already been through an awful ordeal and was missing her ears. As a result, volunteer Carla Birdie decided she'd knit the kitten some adorable replacements. It's impossible to be sure exactly what Karma the kitten had been through prior to her ending up at a Californian shelter in August 2018. However, from the injuries she was sporting, it was clear to see that the 3-month-old cat had been subjected to unimaginable cruelty. Karma arrived at the shelter as a stray, and given the trauma that she'd clearly experienced, staff there decided to contact the Humane Society Silicon Valley. This animal welfare organization has been helping the community for more than 8 decades. As part of its work, it takes in animals with extensive medical needs from other shelters. And Karma qualified for Humane Society Silicon Valley help because of what she'd been through. Staff at her original shelter were horrified to discover that someone had mutilated the helpless little animal, and the experience had left her with many physical and emotional scars that would take lots of TLC to heal. Speaking to the Dodo in September 2018, Humane Society spokesperson Michelle Tennant Nicholson revealed, Karma arrived at the shelter with her ears and tail cut off. The wounds were mostly healed, but understandably, she was very frightened of almost everything, especially humans. It was going to take a lot of effort to win Karma's trust again, but who could blame her for being wary of humans after what she'd been subjected to? All that the people caring for the kitten could really do was show her their love and hope that she came around. To give Karma the best possible chance of recovering from her ordeal, the shelter handed her over to a caring foster family, and thanks to their dedication, the little kitten soon began to open herself up to the possibility of being loved. Before long, in fact, Karma was learning how to be a kitten, perhaps for the first time. With time and lots of love and care, her personality began to blossom, Nicholson explained. She quickly showed a love for toys, and her foster mom used toys and play to start to create a bond with her. However, while Karma's foster family managed to heal the kitten's heart, her physical injuries were more tricky to fix. With no ears or tail, the cat's appearance was a constant reminder of the anguish she'd gone through. But then one of the animal's carers decided to do something about it. Using their creative talents, they picked up their knitting needles and got to work. Our staff and volunteers fell in love with her, so much so that one of our foster volunteers knitted Karma a hat with ears, Nicholson revealed. That volunteer was Carla Birdie. She had fallen for little Karma after enjoying a cuddle with her one day. And after seeing how adorable the kitten was, Birdie wanted to do something to show her love for the animal. With that in mind, Birdie started on her creation. After a couple of days knitting, she'd produced a new piece of headwear to cover up Karma's missing ears. Furthermore, she'd also crafted a toy mouse for the kitten to play with, and the results were utterly adorable. Images of Karma modeling her new knitwear show her posing in a pink woolen hat complete with contrasting white ears, and the hat even featured straps just in case the kitten ever had to fasten her headwear on. Thanks to her special hat, Karma was probably the most fashion-forward kitty around. However, she still didn't have the one thing that she most required in life, a family to love her unconditionally for the rest of her days. Explaining Karma's predicament, Nicholson said, after a few weeks in foster, she was ready to find her forever home. So in order to spread the word, Humane Society Silicon Valley advertised the fact that Karma was available for adoption on social media. The August 2018 post from the Humane Society of Silicon Valley read, Karma had a rough start to life, but she's looking forward to a happy future. She's been spending some time in a foster home being showered with attention. In their adoption appeal, the shelter also put in a reference to Karma's unique accessory. Our awesome volunteer Carla even made Karma her own set of pink ears, the post read. She's a shy girl who perks up quickly once toys are involved. Karma's adoption appeal was well liked on Facebook, receiving close to 300 reactions. Moreover, there was plenty of love for the kitten in the comments section below the post. Is there anything cuter than this? Linda Meichener gushed. Given the interest in karma, it may come as no surprise that it didn't take long for the kitten to receive her happy ending. Within just a day of arriving on our adoption floor, she found her new home, Nicholson revealed. So following her rough start in life, Karma's future looked brighter than ever. And while she might never completely forget the traumatic things that had happened to her, her new mom could see past her scars to the adorable kitty within.